All right, let's jump right in and talk about a couple things that are going on. So who's on Gettr? I'm on Gettr. Hang on, let me get this up. I pinned this to the top of the chat in YouTube, but I just joined. Well, actually, no, I've been on Gettr for a while. I think I joined in July. Yeah, July 2021. And I haven't really been doing much with it. And it's not for any particular reason other than it was just like another thing. Right? So you can find me on Gettr at just Carlin, just my first name. And I liked the platform. The platform is very easy to use. I haven't had any problems with it. No edit button, Gettr. But I'm assured that it's coming soon. So make sure you're following me on Gettr. I wasn't one of I apparently have the little verification thingy, but what they didn't do is they didn't port over for a lot of the verified users. They've ported over all of their followers and have connected their Twitter accounts to their Gettr so they don't have to do it in two different places. I am a poor man's verified person on Gettr. They haven't done any of that shit for me. So I have to rebuild from scratch. But I was actually thinking about it earlier today because George, you're right. Bitchcraft would not be this Saturday. I have no idea how dates work. It would be next Saturday, I think. I'll have to go look at the time. It's in locals. George, you're correct, though, with that super chat. Thank you. Just a clarification, will Bitchcraft be on this Saturday? It's technically the second Saturday. Maybe I don't know how calendars work, George. So, anyway, I'm a poor man's verified person on Gettr, so I need to rebuild my audience. So if you guys are on there, please make sure you follow me. But I actually like this better. I was thinking about this last night because a lot of my audience on Twitter and YouTube, and it's not that I don't love and appreciate you guys, but my audience grew primarily from people who thought I had converted to being a conservative. And we all, of course, know that that didn't actually happen. And so a lot of my audience gets really upset with me when I don't talk about conservative things. And I'm like, I'm not a conservative. What do you want? And then they're like, you were just pretending. I'm like, I never said I was a conservative. But I'm actually looking forward to rebuilding the audience on Gettr in a little bit more of an organic way where I have people that actually understand who I am and what I'm about. And hopefully, so that'll actually be a good thing. I know I do need to put it in dark mode. You're 100% right. I do. I've just been playing around with it and I've been having so much fun in the past couple days because what's happened on Gettr in the past couple days, hang on, let me just stop sharing this screen because I want to bring up the email that I just got from Gettr. I mean, right before I went live, hang on, stop share on that. Let me bring up this email that I just got from Gettr because Gettr had a big day yesterday. Marjorie Taylor Greene got banned off Twitter. Joe Rogan apparently got on Gettr. So let's just read this email. We can see how Gettr's doing. Gettr just reached another amazing milestone, 230,000 signups in one day. It's the biggest day since launch. Now, dude, I have to admit that is pretty impressive because I was on Gettr all day yesterday and they didn't crash. And I think that this is the first time that I've ever seen a conservative built media platform that didn't crash as soon as everyone kind of decided to log on to it. I mean, Gab regularly crashed. Parler, forget about Parler. Parler is crazy. Every single time conservatives built their own platform, it inevitably crashes and goes through all these technical difficulties. But it seems like Gettr actually handled the situation pretty well. So I was pretty pleased with that. We've also added huge names to the platform in recent days. We've had, drumroll please, Joe Rogan, Larry the Cable Guy, Dave Rubin, Andrew Bogart, Kurt Schlichter, Andy No, Jordan Peterson, Robert Malone, all joining the ranks of Gettr. Let's see. The fact checkers can ban any and all information they see as fake or doesn't allow their preferred COVID narrative regardless of facts. As recently as Sunday, Twitter permanently banned the personal accounts of Dr. Robert Malone, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. We work day in and day out to make sure that our platform meets all of your social needs. So there are things that I like about Gettr. I like that the post length is longer, so 777 characters. I haven't used this photo or video editing thing in the app yet. Post up to 3-minute videos. Now, allegedly, they are adding the ability to edit. I've already taken them to task once for not having an edit button. I'm like, Gettr, you had one job. Literally all any of us wanted was an edit button. That's it. You had to get fancy with the rest of the stuff. You had to screw with the post length. You had to make fancy editing. All I didn't want to edit photos or videos in your app, Gettr. I just wanted an edit button for the posts. That was literally all that I wanted. But apparently that's going to be coming soon. So I'm pretty pleased about that. But the thing of it is, and the question that I have is exactly how uncensored is Gettr? Exactly how uncensored is it? Because one of the things that I heard was that they banned Nick Fuentes for not doing anything. Now, here's the thing. I don't like Nick Fuentes. I don't like the Groypers. Don't like them at all. However, the fact of the matter is that if Nick Fuentes didn't do anything wrong, then why is he already banned on Gettr? And I've been asking around all day. I'm like, why was Nick Fuentes banned on Gettr? Why was he banned on Gettr? What did he do? What did he say? And for a platform that's marketing itself as a free speech platform, to be quite frank, I think these are important questions to ask. Not, again, that I support Nick Fuentes or the Groypers. I do not like them. They are not my cup of tea. But I also do not like that conservatives seem to be perfectly okay with censorship when they are the ones pulling the strings. Now, this is something I talked about last week on this channel when I ran a poll on Twitter and it got over 6,600 votes. And 66% of people who answered that poll said that they would prefer to ban pornography than protect the First Amendment. Because a lot of people don't seem to understand that pornography is actually protected speech under the First Amendment. This has been ruled on by the Supreme Court on many different occasions. You don't have to like porn at all. You don't have to watch porn. You don't have to consume porn, but it is protected speech. And if you would infringe on that, then how many other forms of free speech would you infringe on? And one of the things that became very clear to me when I executed that poll was that conservatives don't mind censorship. They just want to be the ones deciding what gets censored. And this makes sense. It makes sense if you think about it, because have we ever seen any conservatives, like the politicians, genuinely fighting back against tech censorship? Have we seen any conservative politicians making any effort at all to fight back against tech censorship in a real way? No, they don't. They use it for fundraising. They use it to rev up the base, but do they actually do anything? Well, they don't. And I'm really starting to believe that the reason that they don't do anything is because they're not in favor of the current censors, but they're very much in favor of censorship. I truly believe that the only problem that conservatives have with companies like Twitter is that they are not the ones pulling the strings. They are not the ones deciding what should be allowed and what should not be allowed. And the reason I'm saying that is because there's been a lot of playing around on Gettr in the last 24 hours. I'm going to talk about some of it. But Gettr is absolutely censoring its users. They are 100% censoring their users, and I'm going to show you proof of this. And this only reinforces the point that it's not tech censorship that conservatives are opposed to. It's progressive tech censorship that they're opposed to. I'm having a great old time on Gettr. I really am. I had so much fun last night. I laughed so hard. We're going to talk about that. But I also think we need to acknowledge that what is being set up here is that Twitter is the progressive censored platform. Gettr is the conservative censored platform. That's what's happening. Conservatives are not opposed to censorship. They just want to be the ones pulling the strings. But let's talk about Nick Fuentes for a second. Let's talk about him getting banned on Gettr. This appeared in Newsweek. Now, you all know how I feel about Newsweek. Not exactly the most accurate of reporting sources smeared me, lied about me. So we're going to take everything we read in Newsweek with a grain of salt, but it was the source that I had available to me, and so we will use it for the moment. Right-wing social media site bans controversial term, sparking fury among user base. This was published on December 24th, 2021. Many are up in arms over social media's website's decision to block a controversial term. After banning white nationalist figure Nick Fuentes from their platform, Gettr has blocked the term groyper from its website. Now, I would just like to confirm that I did actually do a test. Actually, let me see if I have it up. Let me see. I know I tried it out earlier. Here it is. I said Nick Fuentes got banned on here for using the term groyper. I'm going to test this out. Groyper. So I can confirm that I was allowed to post the term groyper. So I'm not exactly sure where Newsweek is getting this information from, but I was indeed allowed to post the term groyper earlier today. But let's keep going. According to a report from the Daily Beast, the term is often used by Fuentes supporters and fans. A spokesperson said on Tuesday that the commentator was banned because he violated Gettr's clearly defined terms of use. So is Gettr saying that using the term groyper is against their terms of use? How does that make it different than Twitter? And why was I allowed to use the term groyper? It's not banned. Like, they are banning words. There are words that you cannot even, I don't even know what is a post called on Gettr? I don't know. It's not like a tweet. Like, I don't know what it's called. But there are certain words that if you try to post them, you will not be able to. The libertarians were doing a lot of experimenting with this last night. There's things, if you look at my Gettr timeline and you scroll down to last night, they actually figured out what the algorithm is. It involves less than 2 bad words per sentence. Sometimes you can use a bad word and put a period after it. Sometimes you can't. A get just says that a tweet on Gettr is called a get. Probably that makes sense. But why was Nick Fuentes banned? What terms of service did he break? And if it was just saying the word groyper, really, Gettr? Really? That's not the only evidence I have that Gettr is censoring people. We're going to talk more about that in a second. Fuentes himself seemed disappointed at the ban, unsure as to who exactly was responsible for the move. Apparently, my Gettr ban, some are saying Steve Bannon did it, some are saying someone else did it, said the figure with his nightly talk show on Thursday. But this is bad news either way. When Beast reporter Zachary attempted to write the groyper term on the website on Thursday night, an error banner appeared. Zachary attempted to write the term again on Friday, got another error message popped up, but it was unclear when exactly groyper was banned from the platform. It is estimated that the move was implemented on Thursday night. So it sounds like Gettr may have, in order to have a reason to ban Nick Fuentes, may have outlawed the term groyper. But again, I've already, I posted it earlier. Here, let's try it again. Testing to see if I can post the term groyper again. Yep. It looks like that's fine. So groyper was banned, and now groyper is not banned. Am I spelling groyper incorrectly? Like, what is going on? Nope, completely spelled correctly. Gettr has banned use of the word groyper, LOL, wrote Fuentes on a chatting app, Telegram. Let's go. Other users have begun trying to circumvent the ban in support of Fuentes. Arizona Representative Wendy Rogers wrote groyper on her Gettr profile on Thursday night. Well, with the post still being up as of this writing, it is unknown whether or not the website will attempt to also ban similar variations of the term. Well, it doesn't seem like they have so far. Then it just talks about the term a little bit more. So yeah, Gettr is absolutely banning people, but that's not the only instance I have of this. You see, there are a couple libertarians. There's this dude, Reed Coverdale, and this rapscallion, Justin O'Donnell. Now, I can't actually show you the things that Reed and Justin have been posting on Gettr. But I strongly recommend, if you listen, man, there are certain words I will not use. I won't use the N word. I won't use the F word. I very rarely will use the R word. I very rarely will use the C word. And if I use the C word, I'm probably referencing myself. There are certain words that I just won't use. But that doesn't mean that I believe they should be banned speech. I am making a choice about what I think is appropriate for me. I absolutely think they should be protected speech because the only speech that we actually should be protecting is speech that is offensive. The only speech that is required to be protected is speech that is offensive. If we aren't going to protect offensive speech, then we shouldn't pretend that we believe in free speech at all. We just shouldn't pretend, okay? So while there are certain things that I will not say, I will absolutely fight for Justin and Reed's right to say them, especially on a platform that is supposed to be protecting free speech. But I will say this, watching the libertarians last night test the boundaries of what they could get away with on Gettr, here, I posted this tweet, and like I said, if I posted pics of some of the things that are happening on Gettr right now, I'd get banned instantly, which is true. I would absolutely have gotten banned on Twitter if I posted some of the stuff that they were saying. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff that actually got them banned, maybe a little bit. It's like being in a foreign land, watching a custom you don't fully understand with curiosity. The free speech debauchery is almost artful in its execution. You know what I watched last night on Gettr? They were playing. Yeah, they were using bad words and they were saying offensive things, but it was actually really, really lovely to watch. It was like they were playing. They were having fun. They were like little kids seeing what they could get away with, testing the boundaries. I was on the floor laughing with some of the things that they posted. And it was like one of those things, it's like, I can't remember a time in my lifetime when I've seen that type of play with speech. When I've seen people just saying some of the most offensive things, because even though I grew up in the 90s, more or less, I mean, I guess grew up in the 80s. I was born in 81, but like my formative years were in the 90s. That's what I remember. It was like, I have never seen people use language like that. And it was really fascinating for me to watch it and to know that the only reason they were using this language was to test the bounds of free speech. They weren't being hateful about it. Like Justin will flat out said to me yesterday, he's like, I don't hate the Jews. I hate the states. And I completely get what he's saying. And I completely get what he's doing. But it was like that freedom to play with language. Now, listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Gab. I don't know how many of you are on Gab. I am on Gab. I don't really use it. There was a time when I actually liked the platform because I liked the functionality of the platform. But then I just every time I go on Gab, I'm called all manner of Jewish slur. I do think it's kind of funny. I've mentioned this a couple of times. Like Newsweek apparently thinks I'm an anti-Semite. The actual anti-Semites call me a Jew. So I just don't go on Gab because the excess hate is just too much for me. And so I do understand the inclination to want to be on a platform where you don't have all manner of Jewish slur in your timeline at any given moment. I do understand that. But that's not what they were doing. They weren't being hateful. They were testing the bounds of what they could say. And on a platform that declares, we are the free speech platform, we believe in the First Amendment, they should be allowed to do that. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of the things I can show you. Oh, this was funny. Reed was getting so bad last night. Gonzo Libertas tweeted this out. Reed Coverdale in a few days explaining his Gettr feed after posting bail. And I honestly would not have been surprised if that had happened. Well, oh God, that's not what I meant to show you. Oh no. Hey God, let me show you the censored one. I'm going to show you the censored one. So Reed was actually censored on Gettr. Let me show you what he posted. There it is. That's the one I can show you. So this is proof that, like, so Reed was posting a whole bunch of stuff. Justin was posting a whole bunch of stuff. Both of them woke up this morning and found out that Gettr had just summarily deleted their posts. Gettr had just deleted them. Didn't notify them that they were deleted. Didn't give them any explanation for why they were deleted. You can see here, Trump is the R word, Ben Shapiro is the F word. I'm not gonna get myself in trouble. I think the rest of it's okay to show on YouTube. But Reed was specifically testing what he could post, and he found out that this wasn't allowed to be posted on Gettr, and it has since been deleted. Let me see. Let me see what. Okay, and here's evidence from Justin. He was trying to post earlier. Gettr wouldn't even have. They weren't even allowing him to post. See, can we show this? Oh God, no, that one we can't show. That's a different thing. Reed also said, and I want to make sure this is clear, if you're going to get pissed by my demeanor over on Gettr, Justin and I made it explicitly obvious that we were only going there to push the limits and to try to get banned. So they're doing this for a purpose. But I think that we should all be asking the question about why Gettr is banning protected speech. There was another thing that Justin posted that I can't show you because it involved a Jack Murphy-like cartoon of someone inserting something into someone else. You can figure out what that means. But Justin's been posting this cartoon. That cartoon got deleted, and he was making a point about, the first time he posted it, he was making a point about Israel, us paying for Israel's defense, which probably we shouldn't be doing. The second time he posted it, he was making a point about Gettr not really believing in free speech. So I want to emphasize, I really am having a ton of fun on Gettr. Again, if you're on Gettr, I hope you'll follow me. I'm just at Carlin on Gettr. I'm having an absolute ball with it. I will say that looks like some unsafe space account forgot to register their handle on Gettr. Looks like someone may have snagged Unsafe Space's handle on Gettr. I wonder who that could have been. Maybe the person they've been bullying for over a year. But this is the type of fun I'm having on Gettr, and I hope you will all join me over there. Let's make it last while we can. I don't know how long this is going to last. I remember, listen, man, I am old. I remember what Twitter was like back in the day. I remember what Twitter was like when the fail whale was a thing. That's like circa 2007. Twitter used to be awesome, and now Twitter sucks. Parler, when Parler first launched, Parler was pretty great. I had a really good time on Parler when Parler first launched, and then they went through all their troubles, and now Parler sucks again. Gettr right now is fun. It's fun. It's playful. I'm really enjoying it. And so let's all get on there and enjoy it for as long as we can. And fingers crossed, I truly, truly, truly hope they don't screw it up. I truly hope they don't, because I'm just having an absolute ball. But I want us to hold Gettr's feet to the fire. I want us to hold them to the fire. If they believe in the First Amendment and they believe in free speech, then they shouldn't be censoring people that aren't doing anything wrong. If you want to have a First Amendment standard for speech that necessitates you tolerating speech you find offensive, that necessitates you tolerating speech that you wouldn't say yourself. I would not say many of the things that Justin and Reed have said in the past 24 hours, but I find a lot of them hilarious, and I completely understand what they're doing and the point that they're making. And I absolutely will fight to the death to protect their right to do it. And there is currently no platform online that will allow that type of speech. So don't call yourself a First Amendment platform if you're not actually going to act like a First Amendment platform. I don't want to see Gettr devolve into a cesspool like Gab, but there's got to be a happy medium here. There really does. And if Gettr just turns out to be the conservative censored version of Twitter, I guess that just means that libertarians are the most oppressed class when it comes to free speech.